Hi guys, my name is Zach and I was a chronic spender. I was someone who spent money all the time, didn't have a budget and didn't really do well with saving money and being able to set money aside. Now I've actually found a lot of freedom in being able to budget and save money in the ways that we're going to talk about today. So if you want to learn how to budget money, how to stop being stuck in a downward spiral of spending most of your money, if not more than the money that you make, then stay tuned as we're going to talk about that. The first thing you need to know is that you can monitor your finances through an app called Mint. This app is going to keep track of your transactions and how much money you have in your bank account. You can link all those things and it will show you, well, Zach, you've made $3,000 this month, but you spent $3,500 this month. Well, that means I'm in a very bad position and that's a really bad place to be. So it's important though to understand where you're at. So if you're able to just take a step back and look at that. And that's what this app allows you to do. It shows you, well, Zach, you've actually been spending $500 on eating out every month. Well, maybe I should cut back a little bit on eating out so that I'm able to have enough money and not go in debt. So that's something that this app is going to allow you to do. Now, you're able to go a couple different routes when it comes to budgeting. It really depends on your personality type and what you'd like to do. For us, we actually use the traditional route of an Excel document, and we actually have each of our budgets in there, how much we spend in that every single month, or how much we have budgeted to spend, and then how much money I make every single month. And so that allows us to see, okay, as long as we don't go over budget with these, then we will be fine and we'll still be able to save X amount every single month. These are the kinds of things you want to be doing with your finances. You want to have those kinds of budgets in especially the big categories like your mortgage. If you have an auto loan, your auto loan, and then groceries, your gas bill, your phone bill, your electricity bill, so on and so forth. There's a lot of bills. And so those are the kinds of things you want to be keeping track of. You want to understand how you're doing with those budgets. And you're able to do that with the Mint app, which is going to show you how well you've been budgeting even up to this point, if you've been spending more money than you've been making, or if you've been running a surplus, which is going to be a good thing for you if you've been doing that. After looking at that, you're able to come up with your budget. Now that you have your budget and you're able to, again, use an Excel document, or you can even use the Mint app itself. It has budgets within the app, and you can just tell it, I want to have my grocery budget at $400 per month. Well, that's going to then tell you, oh, you went over that budget last month, or you went over that budget this month, or whatever it is. You can tell very easily how you're spending your money, and that's going to help you keep track of it. Now, after you've then decided how you're spending your money, you need to come up with a plan of how you can cut back on some things, because maybe you've been spending more in certain categories that you just don't need to spend as much in. Maybe you need to eat out a little less, at least for a time, while you're building up your savings so that you're able to save money faster. This is really going to help you in that way. Now, one of the things that you want to make sure that you are avoiding during this whole time is that when you're setting aside money, that you are putting it somewhere where you're deciding this money is not going to be used except for certain things. So if you set money aside, you need to have at least 3 to 6 months worth of expenses in an emergency fund. So then you decide by budgeting how much your expenses are every month. And then you come up with a number. Let's say your expenses every month for your bare necessities are $2,500. So that means if you're going to do 6 months, that's going to be 5,000 times 3, be $15,000 worth of money that you're going to want to have set aside so that you're prepared for an emergency. What if you were to lose your job? If you had 6 months worth of bare necessity expenses set aside, then you would be prepared to weather a storm for the next 6 months after having lost your job, and you can take your time deciding which job you need to get. instead of being in a position where you need to get a job next week. So this is something that's going to give you a lot of freedom. It's also going to give you a lot of freedom by having that money in there. You're also then able to say, okay, well, we have a little bit of extra money in our budget right now. We can actually give some money away to those in need. Maybe some people around you who just, they don't have as much money as you, and you want to be able to help them. Whatever the case is that you want to use your finances for, that's what budgeting allows you to do. It allows you to have more freedom with your finances so that you can then give to those in need. You can even choose to have budgets like travel. Maybe you feel like you just never have enough money to go on a good vacation. Well, if you set aside money every single month for a vacation, then eventually you're going to have enough money to go on a good vacation. And maybe a good vacation doesn't mean that you're going to some crazy resort that's thousands and thousands of dollars, but you can still go on a good vacation on a budget and with that money that you set aside. So that's what this is going to enable you to do. The pitfall that so many people come into is just setting aside all of this money and then deciding that they're going to use the money that they've budgeted and put so much work into for just a want. Just something that they don't even really need, but it's just something that they want and they've just decided that they're going to spend money on. Let's say you want to buy a new car. You don't really need a new car necessarily. Your car hasn't broken. You're just wanting a new car. And so the new car is $20,000. Well, you set aside $15,000. That's great. So now you can spend all that money that you set aside, and then you'll only have $5,000 on an auto loan. Well, the problem with that is now you've gone back to square one where you set aside all that money, but it's for naught. You don't have any sort of cushion in your finances if anything were to happen. Or if you're to get that auto loan, maybe you wouldn't have enough money to continue setting aside money if that's going to stretch your budget to that extent. So you just want to be careful with these things. And also when it comes to budgeting and saving money, it's something where we also have to mention that getting a new job is sometimes an important part of this. If you're not able to pay for your basic necessities based off the amount of money that you are bringing in, then you just simply need to get a better job. So you want to look into these different options about how to actually make more money, how to either move up in your current company or move into a different company, whatever it may be. That may be a consideration you would want to look into if you find yourself not even being able to pay for those bare necessities without going into debt. Now, if you found value out of this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notification so you don't miss any future content. This has been Zach, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.